The next morning, Murano had provided us with a gloriously sunny start as we headed for the famous Stelvio pass. The lower roads gently weave their way through the mountain valleys before eventually revealing the challenge ahead, a winding climb to 2,700 metres taking us from the baking North Italian sun to the winter climates of the snow-topped mountains. The roads are dotted with tunnels and long, fast, straight sections that very quickly turn into a barrage of switchback bends that bring you almost to a standstill to get around. Surprisingly though, my bike managed to get around all those without the need for a 3-point turn. This clearly shook Mike, who apparently wet himself at the thought of it all. Nonetheless, we carried on and I managed to weave my lumbering land yacht around every bend that was thrown at me. And given how narrow the roads are and how much traffic was actually on them, it was difficult to find a place to stop and admire the awesome views that appeared around every corner. So when the opportunity does arrive, I'll drop anchor and get the camera out. As we reached the summit, the roads became broken and uneven, making it harder to do any real kind of speed. That and the amount of traffic trying to get around cars, buses and cyclists. The experience at the top is very different to the Grossglockner, which was quiet and calm. Here there's hustle and bustle amongst the hordes of people wandering around, taking the views, grab a coffee, and then buy a souvenir from the abundance of souvenir shops. And I obviously bought the t-shirt. We took ourselves up to the end of the road, going as high as we could on our bikes next to the Tibet Cafe, where we posed for some awkward-looking superhero-style pictures, as directed by our helpful stranger behind the camera, before we then parked our bikes precariously next to the cliff edge so that we could get more pictures of us trying to look cool. The way down was no less dramatic, with its mix of roads and the odd cow to avoid. And, as always, a dramatic view of what lies ahead, bend after bend carved into the mountainside, snaking its way eventually to the bottom. On this side of the mountain, though, there are far more tunnels that had clearly not been upgraded since the day they were created, so they were narrow, wet, slippy and quite poorly paved. Thankfully, the further down we came, the more the sun came out to warm us up and dry up the roads again as we made our way to our next stop in Livigno. Join us next time as we start to make our way home, playing on the mountain roads and country hopping as we go.